JRR here, and today we are going over supporting characters, especially in storylines. This is going to be a fun one. Now, like many people who roleplay, I did the critical error and I kind of overlooked this spot. I thought it was something simple. I thought people knew this role. I thought people understood why it was there. Apparently, no. I gave too much credit to some role players, and that's me being an idiot. I apologize. I should have brought this up sooner. Now I accept that. I do. I accept that. That's me being, I forgot. But let's just go on with the point at hand, shall we? First things first. Everyone who's role-playing oftentimes role-plays the main character or main characters. Say if you're a group of Power Rangers, you're going to have at least 6. That's a given. There's a red one, a blue one, a green one, a yellow one, a sometimes white one, black one. You get the idea. Now, a lot of people don't really role-play the Power Rangers. They go for the Kamen Riders. And again, the same principle holds. But it's not usually people role-playing the teams that cause the problem, because every team member has their own episode or two, naturally. And even though the other team members are oftentimes seen as supporting characters, they have times where they're the main character, they're the main focus. Now, many shows worth of this often point out that a lot of supporting characters get their own roles for roleplay, because guess what? That's just how it is. If the supporting role is memorable enough, they will jump on it and roleplay it. Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball Z, for example. Bulma from Dragon Ball Z. Robin, for the longest time. Poison Ivy, who's supposed to be a main villain. I mean, you can go on a list of people who are like low tier or supporting cast that got jumped up for roleplay to be picked up and roleplayed. And I bring this up a lot because some people know their role and they accept it, and other people cause me to make this video. So, why would I make this video, you would ask? What if you have a main character? Well, let's bring up the Justice League, for example. You got Green Lantern, Cyborg, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and a bunch of others, right? Most of that group has their own comic by default. Right? Most of the group, like Batman has his own comic, Superman has his own comic, Wonder Woman has her own comic, and now when people roleplay these, they often try to force themselves into the main position. Let's take, for example, Galactus shows up. Nope, wait, Galactus is Marvel. Let's do this right. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are DC, and I brought up Marvel villains, so we're gonna take that down and bring up a DC. No, I'm not using the pinky finger because DC's last. No, what happened was I brought up Galactus first, and Galactus is a big motherfucker, so by default he's number 1. So we're gonna go with a DC villain. Doomsday, which is a very strong character. Doomsday, who would usually beat the hell out of Superman. Now, with Doomsday being the villain, we see that most of the story, it's going to be centered around Doomsday and Superman. Because he's always after the Kryptonians. But wait, what if you're role-playing Batman? That would put Batman in a supporting situation. What does this translate in roleplay terms? No. F that. I got Batman, I'm taking Doomsday out myself. I don't need you, Superman. I don't need Wonder Woman. Screw y'all. I got this. Yep. Y'all do whatever you're going to do. I got this. Does that apply to the character? Well, it's not really a character premise because Batman does whatever he needs to do to save humanity. That's his whole job. He doesn't care if it costs people their lives. His overall goal is to save people in general. He understands if there's a loss, it can't be helped. If the ends justify the means, there's no choice. I say this because a lot of people sit here and argue, Batman is the main character no matter when he shows up, and Batman's this, and Batman's that. Yes, but Batman also understands he cannot box Doomsday. He cannot fight Doomsday. He has to outthink Doomsday. He understands that in most cases he is not going to outpower his enemy. He knows this. And because he knows this, he oftentimes takes a supporting role when dealing with things. He knows better. But again, that's knowing better. A lot of role players don't do that. A lot of role players go, no, my character's a main character. I don't care what storyline is, it's focused on me. I'm an egocentric motherfucker. It's focused on my character because he's a main character. Let me give you an example. I gave you all a Justice League example. Doomsday, Superman, Batman. I gave you all that one. Here's a multiverse version of it. Let's say you're role-playing as Goku. There's a shock. And we'll take Galactus, because why the fuck not? He's a comic character, and I've already brought him up, so let's just take what we got. Galactus shows up, and he's like, I'm going to eat this world. It's going to happen. I'm going to devour this world. With that said, Silver Surfer shows up, and he's trying to calm Galactus down. While all this is going on, Superman flies his happy ass in there and goes, no, I got this. It doesn't matter that you guys are here. It doesn't matter what you do. I got this. Me. Now granted, Galactus has nothing to do with Superman. The only thing they share is the term comic. Okay, maybe they both had a scene in a movie. In Superman's case, he had a bunch of movies, but you get the point. The main tie between them isn't even the same general universe. Basic genre, yes. But universe, not so much. Superman's from DC, Galactus from Marvel. By default, Superman shouldn't be in the way of Galactus at all, but here we are, role-playing. So in the role-play situation, Superman shows up and he's trying to deal with Galactus by himself. He's, ah! Now, keep in mind, Galactus sent this post to Goku. He sent it to Goku. And he's trying to work a storyline between himself and Goku. But Superman jumped in. Because Superman believes, or the person playing Superman believes that Superman is the main character, period. No matter whatever his Superman shows up, that's it. The story focuses on him. It doesn't matter. And that's where the problem comes in. A lot of role players are doing this. And it's not majorly a problem until it stagnates the storyline. Now, if you can't take a step back and take a supporting role, then there's a problem. You're going to damage storylines, and that's why a lot of people don't do a lot of storylines, because, one, they don't talk to each other to set it up in the first freaking place. But Double R, what's the best way to get storylines going, especially between multiple people? Good question. Valid question, especially with what we've been doing today. The best way to do it, I'm not saying instantly jump back into the supporting role. 18 people are tagged in something for a storyline, you don't instantly jump back. You ask the person who's building up the storyline, what are you expecting my role to be? Am I the bad guy? Am I the leading bad guy? Am I just a thug? Am I a henchman? Am I supposed to do something? What is my motivation? What is the motivation for me, or at least for my character, to be doing what they're doing in your storyline? I'll give you a wonderful example, because this actually applies. When you don't get enough information out of character to help progress the storyline, things just fall flat. Girl had her friend, and instead of bringing everyone into roleplay to bring up, this is what we should do, this is what she did. She talked to one friend to do one thing. Cool. Then she came to me saying, hey, could you have Laser be an antagonist? You know, stalk my person, freak her out, try to attack her, freak out some more, you know, things like that. I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, if he's in Crimson mode, fine, it applies. Now, instead of telling me to stalk the character only, or to attack the character, or what the motivation is, there was no actual motivation. It's just stalk, attack, whatever. It's to make her feel uneasy. Make her feel like there's a threat on her character's life. That's it. Was they supposed to kidnap her? I don't know. Was they supposed to try to murder her? I don't know. But that's where the problems begin. I wasn't given the sufficient motivation for my character to do what he needed to do. So in his view, it was just another person. Just going to mess around with this person until he's distracted or bored. Because, again, it's Crimson. He's very easily distracted. Okay, done playing with you, now I'm going to the next person. That's how he thinks. So, storyline started. Went ahead and approached it. Did the whole stalking, scary thing. Then, apparently, her character took off running. Okay, so you chase after it. Then there is a big house. There's 3 people there. Her friend, and then I guess the boy she wanted to get with. That's how they were playing each other, I guess. I don't know. But in that case, it's like, Crimson is not an idiot. Crimson is a tactical person, even in his insanity. So he's not going to run at 3 people, especially 2 of which he doesn't know their abilities. That's just stupid. And yet people thought, oh, why did you... I actually got an inbox saying, why did you quit playing? There's no motivation there. I don't know what's supposed to be going on. Kind of left out in the cold. No one gave me any heads up, any hints, any direction on what is supposed to be happening. Am I supposed to still be going after her? If so, am I supposed to be dealing with her or them? Am I supposed to be dealing with all 3 of them? Am I supposed to be... Is there supposed to be some sort of connection between the characters that I don't know of, or that my character should know of? No. But because I wasn't told what his motivation should be, he got distracted. Ooh, big house. Your target's aside. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid to go in there and kill her. I was bored. Well, that's not a very good motivation. No, it isn't. I got other things to do. That's a big house, though. And Crimson left. Just that simple. Why? Because, again, Crimson wasn't given any actual motivation. I wasn't told to give him any motivation, so he's just like, man, whatever. Of course, after that, there was no problem, because I guess they kept going, and there was flirting and vampirisms and whatever the fuck else. I didn't bother with it. I just like, hey, he left, he's done. Because, again, distracted. Bring that up to bring this up. As a supporting role, you should know your character's motivation. Now, yes, it's great if you can imagine your own motivation for your character. That'd be great. That's wonderful. But it has to apply. A good example. For those of you who've seen Dragon Ball Z, and you know the Frieza saga. I know some of you are sitting there going, oh yeah, we know that one. Piccolo was main, then supporting, Gohan was main, then supporting, Krillin was main, then supporting, then Vegeta was main, then supporting, and yada yada, and then Goku showed up, and then he became the main, then he was supporting for a little bit, then he became... Yeah, we understand what's going on with the roles. Here's the thing. When you take that situation, the author already knew what was going on. So he's already discussed the storyline, he's already figured out where he wants things to go. Boom, 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 boom. And like a director, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to show, okay, we're gonna focus on Piccolo this episode. Since we brought in Namek, we're gonna focus on Piccolo. He's gonna be the badass. This is his episode. This is where Piccolo is dominating. This is where you see Piccolo be like, he is a motherfucker. That is what he wanted to portray. So during the Frieza saga, when Piccolo showed up, he actually held his own against Frieza. Which, of course, not impressed, but kind of confused the hell out of Vegeta. So we say all this to bring up the simple fact of, if you are to support a role, then you should be a supporting role. Like I said, in the example of Piccolo, Vegeta did not believe what he was seeing, so he took off. Well, when Piccolo finally did get in trouble, Gohan jumped in as a supporting role. He's like, no, F that. I'm not letting him go down. No, screw this. So he jumped in. He was a supporting role, but he was doing what he could to help progress the story. Or in this case, to progress the story, try to keep Piccolo alive. A lot of people refuse the supporting role because they didn't take a supporting character. For those of you who play Resident Evil, I think 4 and 6 would probably be the best options here. If you roleplay the character Hannigan, you are by default support of Leon. That's a given. You've accepted that. If you play the younger school Robin, you understand you're a support of Batman. Trying to think of others. If you play Vegeta, you understand that 9 out of 10 times you're going to be supporting Goku, even though you're going to sound like you are not. Because after all, you're Vegeta. You're the Prince of all fucking Saiyans. And that's a whole nother kettle of fish. How is he still a prince when everything else is destroyed and gone? Either you're a prince of Saiyans, or you are the king of Saiyans now, because guess what? Your dad's dead. I understood why Vegeta wouldn't promote himself, because Goku kept beating him, so he's like, if I beat Kakarot, I'll become the king of Saiyans. I understand that. I understand that logic. So I'm thinking that's what happened. Back on point about supporting. The supporting side is very important, and a lot of times in many storylines, people don't want to take the supporting role. They want to be the main focus, even though they're not the ones that made the storyline, which is another motherfucking thing. I'm going to bring that up at the end of this. When you are not the person who made the storyline, you're pretty much support. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care what your character thinks they are. You are technically support if you did not invent the storyline. Why? Because the storyline is based off the person who made it, who is most likely going to base it off of their character. Common frickin' sense, you would think. With all that said and done, we now go to storylines. As I brought up before, not all storylines have to be murder, rape, pillage, etc., etc. It doesn't have to be all that. But, in the same regard, you do have to realize that if you're not going to go out and make a storyline, then your character may not necessarily be the main character of that storyline. Sorry. Nothing personal. That's just how shit works. If you write a comic of Batman, and you go out of your way to make a good long story, and you're working on this said story, and you bring in the cameo of Superman, you'll notice that Superman is not the main character. He is a cameo. He is a supporting character. He is there for some other reason, not because he is going to become the new Dark Knight. No. He is there for a specific reason. He is taking on a supporting role for somebody somewhere in that comic. He has taken on the supporting role for Batman, in this case. I know this is difficult for some of the role players to hear because they're very egocentric. They are. The world revolves around them only. But if that's the case, then how about you start making storylines for your character instead of relying on other people to make storylines that you want to jump in on and become the main character of those storylines. No. You want to be the main character, you want your main character to be the main character of a storyline? You make the storyline. It's not that difficult. It's called putting a little bit of thought into it. Now some of you are probably sitting there thinking, well, you do that with Laser a lot. No, Laser knows 9 out of 10 times he's a supporting role. He even acts according to supporting standards. He shows up, gives the main information that's needed, helps push things along, and then he leaves. That's it. That's all he does. He pushes things along, then he leaves. Even though, in my books, Laser is the main character. You see how that works. When role played, Laser understands he's a supporting character. He acts accordingly. Now, I keep saying this because there's a lot of you that just, no matter how much I'm saying, and you're probably going to turn this off like at a 5-minute mark anyway, but supporting cast aside, supporting roles aside, if you don't want to be a supporting role, you should make the storyline. Now, the best way to go about said storyline, if it's multiple people, Send out an inbox, a message, or whatever to all of them. Or send out a message out of character and be like, hey, we need to talk about an idea I have for a storyline. Give them the motivation for the character to take the role that you would like them to take. Why would Batman be stealing information from LexCorp? Well, let's think about this. What would give Batman the motivation? You can't just tell him, hey, I want you to have Batman steal stuff from LexCorp. Okay, why? That's going to be the first question that comes up. Why? Why would my character do this? Why would Batman go to LexCorp? Why? Well, he's got new information on Bruce Wayne, and he was planning on exposing Bruce Wayne as possibly Batman or Nightwing. He wasn't sure which, but he thinks he has the information needed to get Bruce Wayne called out as Batman. So, the motivation for your Batman would be information leaked that Lex has information on you. This is minor. This is a minor example, but it's enough of a motivation for a person playing Batman to go, yes, I want to make sure I am not unmasked in front of everybody. I want to make sure that Lex Luthor does not come out with the information saying Bruce Wayne is Batman. I want to make sure that does not happen. And I know now I'm given information that Lex has something on me that points out that it's either I'm Batman, or that I'm Bruce Wayne, or that Robin is Bruce Wayne. And because of that, I need to go and deal with it. I can't just say, hey, Robin, you go get it. Hey, Dick Grayson, go get it. I can't just say that. I know for my character, I have to deal with it. It's preempting the strike before it happens. Proper motivation for the character. And that's important. Again, I'm going to beat this into the ground. Proper motivation for the character is the number one thing that will get your storylines going right or wrong. I say that, and I'm holding to it because that is a very big thing. If your character does not have motivation to do something, they won't do it. It's just like for life. If you don't have motivation to do something, you're not going to do it. You need to clean your room. Why? Well, you're going to have your girlfriend come over, and if your room is messed up, she might get distracted, and you're not going to have sex. Well, I'd like to get to, like, second or third base today. Maybe I should clean my room so when she comes over and we can study, I can get a good grip and hopefully things can progress from there. Yeah, I guess I should clean up my room a little bit. You see, motivation works a lot. I'm trying to think of any other examples, but if you can't think of motivation examples, then you need a lot more help than what I can give you. All I'm trying to say, in a nutshell, is if you make a storyline, contact the people out of character to let them know what the storyline is. After that, you give them the motivation they need for their character to do the role you would like them to do. If you hand Batman a gun, chances are he's not going to use it. You need some very, very strong motivation for him to actually point the gun and pull the trigger. So, let's recap. Recapping. Supporting characters. Yes, there's not a lot of them on Facebook, or AOL, or MSN, or anywhere else for that matter. But supporting characters are important because they fill the supporting role. Roleplay-wise, the supporting role is important because it pushes the storyline. Once you get to the storyline, you should contact out a character who you want in the storyline and break it down. Now, that doesn't mean if people jump in, you just go, no, F you. No. If they jump in, you tell them straightforward, you send them a little message, hey, this is the storyline that we're working on right now. Boom. I see by your post that you're trying to be either here or here, good guy or bad guy, whatever. How would you like this role? This will keep you in the story. Here's your motivation for it, but this will be the role that we'd like to give you. This way you can stay with the group, you can stay with the storyline, you can keep in the pacing and everything, and it won't leave you out. The guy can either take it or leave it. If he wants to leave it, then you remove him from that post. Gone. It's just that simple. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Yeah, well, if you set up a storyline and you send it out to everyone, then you're being very disrespectful for the group that you send it to by letting him just run it, do his thing, and do whatever he wants. So after the storyline is set up, and after you contact out of character the rest of the group for your storyline, and you get them the roles and the motivation and all that they need, go ahead and start off. Go ahead and do the storyline. Now, like I just said, if someone jumps in, send them an out of character missive, and let them know, hey, I actually read the post before you freak out. Read the post. Put a little post under it if you have to. Be like, hey, everyone hold. We got a new person. Hold. Let me explain to them what's going on. And then they can decide, hey, we're going to keep this post. As a group, they can decide to keep the post, or they can decide to get rid of it. But the person who made the storyline should tell everyone to hold up and deal with that person directly. Out of character to out of character, let them know, hey, this is the storyline we're running, this is the basic story of it, boom, 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 we are about here. We're on item 2. I see by your post you're trying to be a good guy and you're trying to stop this from happening. That's fine. Here's a role that you would need to take for this to happen. Here's the motivation. Obviously you have it, so we're going to try to use this motivation for your character. Now, after saying all that, can you do spontaneous storylines? Yes, yeah, of course. That's what people normally do anyway. But keep in mind, the spontaneous storylines are the ones that oftentimes have people go, I'm the main character. Dude, this is Raccoon City. You're Shang Tsung. How are you the main character? You see what happened there? So keep in mind, being a supporting character is not a bad thing. Taking a supporting role is not a bad thing. It's understanding why and having motivation for your character on why they do things that helps the entire story move along. I believe I've made enough of a point. Thank you, and good day in this case.